Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, September 11, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Purdue vs Connecticut. After one game of the regular season, Purdue is 68th in the country in total defense, allowing an average of 21.0 points and 363.0 yards per game of total offense. The Boilermakers have given up 78.0 yards rushing and 285.0 yards receiving per game. The Purdue defense is led in tackling by linebacker Jalen Graham with 6, while Kieran Douglas and Cam Allen each have 5. Graham is also the leader in quarterback sacks with 1.0 and Allen is the leader in interceptions with 1. The Huskies enter this week 121st in the FBS in passing offense with 123 yards per game, while they are 116th in rushing offense with 61.5 yards per game on the ground. UConn is 107th in the FBS in scoring offense with 14 points per game, while they are 111th in scoring defense by allowing 41.5 points per contest. Jack Sergitis is 29 of 65 passing for 235 yards with 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. My first betting advice is to pick Purdue Boilermakers -34. Connecticut is 116th in the nation in total defense, allowing an average of 41.5 points and 453.5 yards per game. The Huskies' defense allows an average of 194.0 yards rushing and 259.5 yards passing per game. The leading tackler for Connecticut is linebacker Omar Fort with 16. Defensive lineman Kevin Jones is the leader in quarterback sacks with 1.5, and defensive back Jeremy Lucian is the leader in interceptions with 1. Jack Plummer was solid under center as he completed 29 of 41 passes for 313 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Jack Albers had 1 pass attempt and saw it picked off. Xander Horvath led the Boilermakers on the ground as he ran the ball 21 times for 81 yards plus a score. He was the bulk of the run game as the rest of the team combined for 12 carries totaling just 7 yards. My second betting advice is to pick under 56.5. Georgia Southern vs Florida Atlantic. With a ground game, they dominated the time of possession, 35-49 to 24-11, and they looked to kill it on the ground against FAU, who struggled to stop the run in their loss to Florida last week. The Eagles also defended the run pretty well, but did not defend the pass well, giving up 365 passing yards and did not have any picks. The run game is key for an Eagles team that only had 135 passing yards on 20 attempts in the Gardner-Webb win. While the ground game was impressive, the defense was a highlight as well. They held the Bulldogs to 50 yards rushing. Gardner-Webb did throw for 365 yards, but most of that came in a desperation second half. The team recorded 3 sacks. Anthony Wilson led the team in tackles with 6. My first betting advice is to pick the Georgia Southern Eagles. Marcus Adams led the team with 85 receiving yards, and Brandon Robinson had 60 receiving yards and a TD. Johnny Ford and Malcolm Davidson each rushed for 52 yards, and each averaged at least 5.2 yards per carry. The Owls had to abandon the run early in the loss to Florida, as they were down big early. FAU needs to hold onto the rock in this game, as well Perry was not picked off, he had one of the 2 fumbles for the team. FAU got a solid performance out of quarterback N'Kosi Perry, who completed 19 of 33 passes for 261 yards and a touchdown. His challenge was that he was sacked 6 times on the day, as the offensive line struggled to keep the Gators out of the backfield. Johnny Ford and Malcolm Davidson each rushed for 52 yards. My second betting advice is to pick under 48.5. Quick reminder, you can get 125% cashback bonus on your first deposit on our partner sportsbook BetUS after you open an account using our link down below and use our promo code HIGHSTAKES when making your deposit. Boston College vs Massachusetts. The Eagles have started the season in sensational rhythm. They cruised to a 51-0 shutout, opening victory over Colgate to send a reminder to the rest of the conference. They racked up 347 yards of offense in the air, which is 12th in the country so far. A quarterback, Colorado transfer Tyler Lytle, 6'5", 230, received the start and went 14 of 31 for 167 yards with no TDs and no picks. UMass couldn't run the ball, so Lytle was busy. Lytle is now listed as out for the game and freshman Brady Olson will make his first start for the Minutemen. Jermaine Johnson Jr. was the top receiver with 3 catches for 52 yards. The secondary, which is considered a strength, was torched for 375 yards and 2 TDs in the air. My first betting advice is to pick Boston College minus 37.5. The Minutemen did not make a good start to their season as they were beaten badly 51-7 by Pitt in the opener. They conceded more than 10 points in each quarter and did not score until the start of the fourth quarter. Defensively, the Eagles held Colgate to 189 total yards, but let's face it, that was an FCS team. UMass is basically an FCS squad right now, or at least a talented one. They allowed 28.4 points per game and 416.8 yards per contest in 2020. The pass defense has to improve as they allowed 245.5 yards, 82nd, per game in air last season. My second betting advice is to pick under 59. Air Force vs Navy. The Air Force Falcons played a good defense in their season opener against the Lafayette Leopards as they allowed 14 points and dominated the time of possession as the Falcons had possession for 34-21. They were decent on third and fourth down defense as the Leopards went 6 for 13 on third down and 1 for 2 in fourth down. They did allow a decent amount of yards in the game as they gave up 286 total yards of offense, 243 passing, 43 rushing, and only allowed 1.8 rushing yards per carry. If Air Force can figure out how to continue their solid defense, it will do wonders for their season. Air Force was outstanding last season as they held teams to 15 points per game, third, and 166.8 passing yards per game, fifth. The defense will have 8 new starters this season, but most of them are seniors and junior who either sat out last season or bided their team for the veterans to move on to the next level at the academy. It helped that they faced Navy, an improved San Jose State, 17-6 loss, and New Mexico, but they held Utah State to 7 and Army to just 10. So while the defense will be tested on the ground against Navy, they certainly see a similar offense option every day in practice. My first betting advice is to pick Air Force -6. Navy did everything they wanted save for the most important part, and that was to score touchdowns. They had the ball for 41-19 and rushed for 337 yards on 75 carries. James Harris too led the way with 80 yards on 11 attempts. Defensively, they were gauged in the air, allowing 363 yards to Grant Wells and Luke Spant. The defense should be improved this season, led by linebacker Diego Faget, 6'3", 240, who is a potential NFL prospect. My second betting advice is to pick under 41. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.